Well, we're almost at the end of our journey.
Our last visit takes us to an absolutely fabulous winery, where we are going to bid a fond farewell to two true pioneers of the modern Oregon wine industry. They planted their first vineyard over a quarter of a century ago.
What a pleasure it was to meet Fred and Mary Benoit on their 48th anniversary and their 20th harvest at Chateau Benoit.
What they represent is a lot of hard work and a fabulous success story.
You know, we're really proud of Chateau Benoit and its products and its wines. We feel the brand is uniquely positioned with the strength of its varieties and the different wines that we make to have enormous long-term success in the wine business here in Oregon. We're shipping now to 20 states around the country, with a couple more online to come on early next year, and it's just in phenomenal shape for long-term growth. We've got new vineyards coming into play, especially geared towards Pinot Noir and top-notch Pinot Noir production, and with the strength of Müller-Thurgau, we're booming. My position here is the sales manager. I'm in charge of making sure that all the markets get covered with Chateau Benoit wines, that we're in the key restaurants, the better wine trade shops and wine shops around the country, and we've had great success. I think partly because of the uniqueness of the Müller-Thurgau. No one's ever seen anything like it before, and it's competing so successfully. We're getting into icon restaurants in New Orleans, Chicago, New York, Florida, all over the country. Top-notch restaurants are turning to this wine because of the new cuisines that they're featuring. It's America's best semi-sweet wine, going with all the new kinds of foods, the fusion foods, the Pan-Asian foods, Cajun, curry, Tex-Mex, anything hot and spicy.
Yeah.
We say that heat needs sweet. If you've got a hot food or a hot day, you probably want something cold and sweet. Chateau Benoit Müller-Thurgau, best semi-sweet wine in the country. There's a lot of natural acidity in all the white wines here in Oregon, especially in the North Willamette Valley, just naturally occurring because of the cool climate, like it's a little cool today. And that cool climate retains the acidity in the wines so that they're much more balanced, much better food wines, easier to drink in some respects. The tank that you see there is one of the larger tanks in Oregon. When the new vineyards come online, there'll actually be a second one, a twin to that one, to handle our production and shipping now nationally. The fermenters that you see are state-of-the-art. They are brand new, high-tech machines with computerized fermentation controls that actively punch down the wine on a regular timed basis, as opposed to whenever the fellows could get to it in the old way. But it's clearly making much more definitively better wines.
Do you ship internationally at all, or is it?
We have occasionally from time to time, yeah. We don't make a major point of it. We think that right here in America is probably the best market for our wines.
What enchanted you about making wine in the beginning, Fred?
It's hard to say. I guess it's sort of the romance of wine and the agricultural aspect of it, growing the grapes, seeing the grapes develop in the vineyard, and then bringing it in, making the wine. And you know, it's a long-term project. From the grapes to having the wine out is probably 3 to 4 years, and you're sort of nurturing it along at each stage. So it's just sort of that whole process.
In 1979, Fred sensed that the action in the Oregon wine industry was going to be here in Yamhill County, and so we came up to this area, to Yamhill County, and bought the land.
We planted our first vineyard in 1972 in Eugene, and really didn't start the winery till 1979. We sold the grapes for a few years until we started the winery. So this is 20 years of the winery, but 27 years of vineyard growing.
What's your favorite part about making fine wines? You do make fine wines.
I think it's you know, the doing the pruning in the vineyard and seeing the grapes develop, and then like right now, whether they're going to get ripe or not.
I would have to say that you two are quite the pioneers. I mean, to start growing grapes in an area that California said it can't be done, and you just proved them wrong.
Well, we probably didn't know any better.
I love your tasting room and your gift shop, and all of the wonderful paintings and prints that you have in here.
It was amazing how everything fit in place when we built the hospitality room.
When I walk into your winery and into the hospitality room, it stirs the mind and the memory of Europe. It just really gives you that feeling, and it's so nice.
We feel so cosmopolitan right here in Oregon. But Oregon is giving Europe a run for their money on fine wines, and you two are partly responsible for that. Thank you for having us here today.
Yes, thank you
Here's to
so
Chateau
much.
Benoit and two real pioneers.
Yeah.
Great folks, Fred and Mary Benoit. They really know what hospitality means.
Speaking of hospitality, sometime after that, I met with Steve Lutz, and he told me what's been happening at Chateau Benoit.
I met Fred and Mary about a year ago, and they knew that I had a lot of experience in working with people and working with hospitality, and invited me up to the winery, and it was hard to say no to them. They're wonderful people. And we really have to thank Fred and Mary for putting in all the hard work to get us where we are today. I think that they've built a great foundation for us, and that's what's important. We've been purchased by Columbia Empire Farms, which is a great fit because they're one of the leading producers of hazelnuts, berries, honey here in Yamhill County, and makes a great fit for us because they understand agriculture and what it takes to produce and sustain great products. So I think now we have some additional resources to take that foundation and to make it grow and improve upon it and bring the winery to a different place. One of the things that I do here, Lynn, is teach people how to taste wine. We have a program here called the Sensory Evaluation, and it really just breaks down the various senses we use when tasting. And I think it's rather unique for people because most people don't realize how all of their senses really influence what they taste.
So then Lynn had a chance to meet with the winemaker at Chateau Benoit, Scott Huffman, who's been there 10 years now.
Scott explained to me briefly the winemaking process and the importance of the vineyard in producing fine wines. The hillside location will capture the warmth of the sun and allow the vineyards to drain well at Chateau Benoit. The long growing season is important, and finally, after thousands of hours, it's a winemaker's favorite time of the year.
Harvest, yeah, that's the most exciting time. That's what you wait all year for. That's when the fruit comes into the winery. That's the make or break. I mean, it's ripe. You've decided to pick it. Now you got to make the wine out of it.
State-of-the-art equipment is used every step of the way. From the crusher stemmer to Scott's Italian press. It's a sophisticated membrane press which is controlled by a computer and allows him to apply very specific amounts of pressure to press the skins gently, extracting the juice without the bitter compounds. Gently handling the grapes and the wines all the way through to the special stainless steel fermentation or French oak barrels is all critical to making world-class award-winning wines at Chateau Benoit. As a fitting conclusion to their legacy, once again, Fred and Mary Benoit left their indelible mark on the history of the Oregon wine industry.
To celebrate the 20th anniversary, we invited the wineries to submit their best Pinot Noir from 1978 to 1998. So it was apparently a very difficult decision, but the wine that the judges chose, again, this is a special 20th anniversary award, is a 1994 Reserve Pinot Noir from Chateau Benoit.
Fred and Mary Benoit have sold their property, and the new owners are taking Chateau Benoit into the new millennium in style.
That's right. Thank you all so much for joining us for Noble Wines 2000.
And here's to the noble wines of Oregon.
Yes. Cheers.